Accounts payable. Meaning, the amount a company owes to its suppliers or vendors. Example, the accounts payable increased this month due to a higher volume of purchases. Accounts receivable. Meaning, the money owed to a company by its customers for goods or services. Example, efficient management of accounts receivable is crucial for maintaining healthy cash flow. Agile. Meaning, a flexible and collaborative approach to project management. Example, the agile methodology allows teams to adapt quickly to changing project requirements. Angel investor. Meaning, an individual who provides financial backing for startups in exchange for equity. Example, the angel investor played a pivotal role in funding the company's early development. Benchmark. Meaning, a standard or point of reference for evaluating performance or success. Example, the industry benchmark for customer satisfaction is 90%, and we aim to exceed it. B2B, business to business. Meaning, transactions that occur between businesses, rather than between a business and a consumer. Example, our company specializes in B2B sales, serving other businesses in the supply chain. B2C, business to consumer. Meaning, transactions between a business and individual consumers. Example, e-commerce platforms are a common example of B2C businesses. Break-even point. Meaning, the point at which total revenue equals total costs, resulting in neither profit nor loss. Example, we need to increase sales to reach the break-even point and start making a profit. Cash flow statement. Meaning, a financial statement that shows how changes in the balance sheet and income statements affect cash and cash equivalents. Example, the cash flow statement provides insights into the liquidity of the business. Client retention. Meaning, the ability to retain and keep clients over a period. Example, our focus on excellent customer service has significantly improved client retention rates. Crowdfunding. Meaning, funding a project or venture by raising small amounts of money from a large number of people, typically via the internet. Example, the startup successfully raised capital through a crowdfunding campaign on a popular platform. Dilution. Meaning, a reduction in the ownership percentage of existing shareholders due to the issuance of new shares. Example, the decision to issue more shares resulted in dilution, impacting the ownership structure. Dividend. Meaning, a portion of a company's profits distributed to its shareholders. Example, shareholders were pleased with the announcement of a generous dividend for the fiscal year. Downsizing. Meaning, reducing the size of a company's workforce to cut costs. Example, the company had to resort to downsizing to cope with the economic downturn. Elevator pitch. Meaning, a concise and compelling summary of a business idea, typically delivered in the time it takes to ride an elevator. Example, can you give me a quick elevator pitch for your new product? Exit strategy. Meaning, a plan for selling or otherwise disposing of a business or investment. Example, investors always appreciate a well-defined exit strategy before committing funds. Fiscal year. Meaning, a 12-month period used for accounting and financial reporting purposes. Example, our fiscal year runs from July 1st to June 30th. Freemium. Meaning, a business model offering basic services for free, with premium features available for a fee. Example, the app follows a freemium model, attracting users with free features and offering premium upgrades. Gross margin. Meaning, the percentage of revenue that exceeds the cost of goods sold. Example, improving the gross margin is essential for overall profitability. Hackathon. Meaning, an event where programmers collaborate intensively on software projects. Example, the company organized a hackathon to foster innovation and creative problem solving. IPO, initial public offering. Meaning, the first sale of stock by a company to the public. Example, the company's successful IPO raised substantial capital for expansion. Joint venture. Meaning, a business arrangement where two or more parties collaborate for a specific project or period. Example, the joint venture between the two companies resulted in a groundbreaking product. Key account. Meaning, a high-value customer or client that has significant strategic importance. Example, managing key accounts requires personalized attention to ensure satisfaction and loyalty. Liquidity. Meaning, the ease with which an asset can be converted into cash. Example, cash and cash equivalents contribute to the company's liquidity. Market segmentation. Meaning, dividing a market into distinct groups based on characteristics to tailor marketing strategies. Example, effective market segmentation helps in creating targeted advertising campaigns. Monetize. Meaning, to convert an asset, such as a website or service, into a source of revenue. Example, the company plans to monetize its popular mobile app through in-app purchases. Net income. Meaning, the total revenue minus total expenses, also known as profit or earnings. Example, the company reported a significant increase in net income for the quarter. Onboarding. Meaning, the process of integrating and orienting new employees into a company. Example, our onboarding program ensures that new hires quickly adapt to the company culture. Overhead cost. Meaning, the ongoing operating expenses of a business not directly tied to production. Example, cutting overhead costs is part of the company's cost-saving strategy. Pivot. Meaning, to shift or change a business strategy or direction. Example, the company decided to pivot to a subscription-based model to increase revenue. Quantitative analysis. Meaning, an examination of measurable and numerical data to draw conclusions. Example, quantitative analysis of sales data revealed patterns and trends. Recruitment. Meaning, the process of finding and hiring new employees. Example, the HR department is responsible for the recruitment of skilled professionals. Return on assets, ROA. Meaning, a financial metric that measures a company's profitability relative to its total assets. Example, a higher ROA indicates efficient use of assets to generate profits. SaaS, software as a service. Meaning, a software distribution model where applications are hosted by a third-party provider and accessed over the internet. Example, many businesses prefer SaaS solutions for their scalability and ease of implementation. Stakeholder. Meaning, an individual or group with an interest or concern in the success of a business. Example, the company's stakeholders include investors, employees, and customers. Strategic planning. Meaning, the process of defining an organization's strategy and making decisions on allocating its resources. Example, strategic planning involves setting long-term goals and outlining the steps to achieve them. SWOT analysis. Meaning, an analysis of a business's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Example, conducting a SWOT analysis is a valuable tool for strategic decision-making. Telecommuting. Meaning, working from a location other than the office, often from home. Example, the company implemented telecommuting options to provide flexibility to its employees. Unicorn. Meaning, a startup company valued at over $1 billion. Example, the tech startup became a unicorn after its successful IPO. Viral marketing. Meaning, a marketing strategy that relies on word of mouth and social media to promote a product. Example, the video went viral, resulting in widespread brand awareness. Whistleblower. Meaning, an individual who exposes unethical or illegal activities within an organization. Example, the whistleblower brought attention to fraudulent practices within the company. X factor. Meaning, an exceptional quality or feature that sets something apart. Example, the unique design of our product is the X factor that attracts customers. Yield. Meaning, the income generated from an investment, often expressed as a percentage. Example, the yield on the bond is attractive to investors seeking stable returns. Zero coupon bond. Meaning, a bond that pays no interest and is issued at a discount to its face value. Example, zero coupon bonds are popular for long-term investment strategies. 360-degree feedback. Meaning, a performance appraisal method where feedback is collected from multiple sources, including peers, subordinates, and supervisors. Example, the company implemented 360-degree feedback to provide a comprehensive performance evaluation. Artificial intelligence, AI. Meaning, the simulation of human intelligence in machines programmed to think and learn. Example, AI technologies are increasingly being used to automate repetitive tasks in business processes. Blue ocean strategy. Meaning, a business strategy that focuses on creating a new, uncontested market space rather than competing in existing markets. Example, the company adopted a blue ocean strategy, introducing a product with unique features that set it apart from competitors. Core competency. Meaning, a unique capability or advantage that distinguishes a company from its competitors. Example, innovation has become a core competency for the company, driving its success in the market. Diversity and inclusion. Meaning, a business strategy that values and includes individuals with diverse backgrounds and perspectives. Example, the company is committed to promoting diversity and inclusion in its workforce. Emotional intelligence. Meaning, the ability to recognize, understand, and manage one's own emotions and the emotions of others. Example, leaders with high emotional intelligence are effective in building strong, collaborative teams. Franchise. Meaning, a business model where individuals purchase the right to operate a branch of a larger company. Example, the fast food chain expanded its reach through franchising, opening new locations worldwide. Geographic segmentation. Meaning, dividing a market based on geographical location to tailor products or services to specific regions. Example, geographic segmentation helps the company customize marketing campaigns for different locations. Horizontal integration. Meaning, the acquisition or merging of companies operating in the same industry or at the same stage of production. Example, the company pursued horizontal integration by acquiring a competitor to strengthen its market position. Incubator. Meaning, an organization that provides support and resources to help startups grow and succeed. Example, the startup joined an incubator to access mentorship and networking opportunities. J-curve. Meaning, a graph that depicts a temporary decline in performance followed by a steep rise, forming the shape of the letter J. Example, after implementing strategic changes, the company experienced a J-curve, with initial challenges leading to significant growth. Knowledge management. Meaning, the process of capturing, organizing, and using an organization's collective knowledge to improve efficiency and effectiveness. Example, knowledge management systems facilitate information sharing and collaboration among employees. Leveraged buyout, LBO. Meaning, the acquisition of a company using a significant amount of borrowed money. Example, the private equity firm financed the acquisition through a leveraged buyout, using both equity and debt. Mergers and acquisitions, M&A. Meaning, the consolidation of companies through various financial transactions, such as mergers or acquisitions. Example, the M&A activity in the industry increased as companies sought to gain a competitive edge. Net present value, NPV. Meaning, the difference between the present value of cash inflows and the present value of cash outflows over time. Example, calculating the NPV helps determine the profitability of an investment. Oligopoly. Meaning, a market structure characterized by a small number of large firms dominating the industry. Example, the telecommunications industry often exhibits oligopoly, with a few major players controlling the market. Pareto principle, 80-20 rule. Meaning, the idea that 80% of effects come from 20% of causes, emphasizing the significance of a minority of factors. Example, in sales, it's often observed that 80% of revenue comes from 20% of customers, highlighting the Pareto principle. Quantitative easing. Meaning, a monetary policy where central banks increase the money supply by purchasing financial assets. Example, the central bank implemented quantitative easing to stimulate economic growth during a recession. Recession. Meaning, a significant decline in economic activity, often characterized by a decrease in GDP, employment, and consumer spending. Example, the global recession in 2008 had far-reaching impacts on various industries. Straw man. Meaning, a misrepresented or exaggerated argument that is easier to refute, often used in discussions or negotiations. Example, his proposal was criticized for creating a straw man by misrepresenting the opposing viewpoint. Turnkey solution. Meaning, a product or service that is ready for immediate use, requiring little to no additional setup. Example, the company provided a turnkey solution, including installation and training, for the new software system. Unsecured loan. Meaning, a loan not backed by collateral, relying on the borrower's creditworthiness. Example, personal loans are typically unsecured, based on the borrower's credit history and income. Vertical integration. Meaning, the combination of different stages of production or distribution under a single ownership structure. Example, the company achieved vertical integration by acquiring suppliers and distributors in its industry. White paper. Meaning, a detailed report or guide that addresses a specific issue or problem and provides solutions. Example, the white paper outlined the company's strategy for incorporating sustainable practices in its operations. Xerox, verb. Meaning, to make a copy of a document using a photocopier. Example, please Xerox these documents and distribute them to the team. Yield curve. Meaning, a graphical representation of the interest rates on debt for a range of maturities. Example, an inverted yield curve is often seen as a predictor of an economic downturn. Zero-sum game. Meaning, a situation where one participant's gain or loss is exactly balanced by the losses or gains of other participants. Example, negotiations should aim for a win-win outcome, avoiding a zero-sum game mentality. Acquisition. Meaning, the purchase of one company by another, involving the transfer of control and ownership. Example, the acquisition of the startup by a larger corporation led to significant growth opportunities. Benchmarking. Meaning, comparing one's business processes and performance metrics to industry best practices or competitors. Example, benchmarking our customer service against industry leaders revealed areas for improvement. Cross-training. Meaning, training employees to perform tasks or responsibilities outside their usual roles. Example, cross-training employees ensures flexibility and enhances teamwork within the organization. Downstream. Meaning, referring to stages in the production or distribution process that are closer to the end user. Example, the company expanded its operations downstream by opening retail outlets to directly reach consumers. Elasticity. Meaning, a measure of how sensitive demand or supply is to changes in price or income. Example, price elasticity measures how much the quantity demanded changes in response to a change in price. Freight forwarder. meaning a company or individual that organizes the transportation of goods from the manufacturer to the market. Example, the freight forwarder coordinates the shipment of products from the factory to the distribution center. Goodwill, meaning the intangible value of a business, including its reputation, customer relationships, and brand. Example, the acquisition added significant goodwill to the company, enhancing its overall value. Honeypot, meaning a cybersecurity strategy that involves setting up a system to attract and detect potential hackers. Example, the company uses honeypots to identify and analyze cyber threats in real time. Entrepreneurship, meaning the practice of promoting entrepreneurial activities within a large organization to foster innovation. Example, the company encourages entrepreneurship by allowing employees to pitch and develop their own projects. JIT, just in time, meaning a production strategy that aims to produce goods exactly when they are needed, minimizing inventory costs. Example, implementing JIT manufacturing helped the company reduce waste and improve efficiency. Keiretsu, meaning a Japanese business model that involves a network of interrelated companies with common ownership. Example, the keiretsu structure allows member companies to collaborate and share resources for mutual benefit. Laissez-faire, meaning a leadership or economic approach where minimal government intervention is advocated. Example, the Economist argued for a laissez-faire economic policy, emphasizing free market principles. Monopoly, meaning a market structure where a single seller or producer dominates the market, often leading to limited competition. Example, the government intervened to break up the monopoly and promote fair competition in the industry. Niche market, meaning a small, specialized segment of the market with unique needs and preferences. Example, the company successfully targets a niche market by offering customized products for a specific audience. Operational efficiency, meaning the ability of a company to minimize waste and use resources effectively in its day-to-day operations. Example, continuous process improvements contribute to the operational efficiency of the manufacturing plant. Pareto efficiency, meaning an economic state where it is impossible to make one individual better off without making someone else worse off. Example, achieving Pareto efficiency requires finding a balance that maximizes overall welfare in an economy. Quality management, meaning a systematic approach to ensuring that a product or service meets or exceeds customer expectations. Example, the ISO 9001 certification is a testament to the company's commitment to quality management. Return on equity, ROE, meaning a financial metric that measures a company's profitability relative to its shareholders' equity. Example, investors consider a high ROE as an indicator of a company's effective use of equity to generate profits. Sole proprietorship, meaning a business structure owned and operated by a single individual, who is personally responsible for the business's liabilities. Example, many small businesses, such as local shops and consulting firms, operate as sole proprietorships. Tangible assets, meaning physical assets that have a definite monetary value and can be touched or seen. Example, the company's tangible assets include real estate, machinery, and inventory. Underwriting, meaning the process of evaluating and assuming financial risk on behalf of another party, often in the context of insurance or investments. Example, the underwriting process involves assessing the risk associated with insuring a new policyholder. Value chain, meaning the series of activities that a company performs to create and deliver a product or service to customers. Example, analyzing the value chain helps identify opportunities for cost reduction and process improvement. Wage garnishment, meaning a legal process where a portion of an employee's wages is withheld to satisfy a debt or financial obligation. Example, the court ordered wage garnishment to repay outstanding debts. Ex-efficiency. Meaning, the effectiveness with which a firm utilizes its resources to achieve maximum output, even in the absence of strong competitive pressures. Example, the company's ex-efficiency is evident in its ability to maintain high productivity levels in a less competitive market. Yield management. Meaning, a pricing strategy used in various industries to maximize revenue by adjusting prices based on demand and capacity. Example, airlines often employ yield management to optimize ticket prices and seat occupancy. Zero defects. Meaning, a quality management philosophy that aims to eliminate defects and errors in the production process. Example, the company's commitment to zero defects has resulted in a reputation for delivering high-quality products. Outsourcing. Meaning, the practice of contracting out certain business functions or processes to external third-party providers. Example, the company outsourced its customer support to a specialized service provider to enhance efficiency. Arbitrage. Meaning, the practice of exploiting price differences for the same asset in different markets. Example, the trader engaged in arbitrage by buying the stock on one exchange where it was undervalued and selling it on another where it was overvalued. Blockchain. Meaning, a decentralized and distributed digital ledger that records transactions across multiple computers. Example, blockchain technology is often used in cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin to ensure secure and transparent transactions. Convertible bond. Meaning, a bond that can be converted into a predetermined number of shares of the issuer's common stock. Example, investors find convertible bonds attractive as they offer the potential for both fixed income returns and equity appreciation. Downturn. Meaning, a period of economic decline or negative growth, often characterized by a decrease in various economic indicators. Example, during the economic downturn, many businesses faced challenges, leading to layoffs and reduced consumer spending. Elasticity of demand. Meaning, a measure of how sensitive the quantity demanded of a good is to changes in price. Example, inelastic demand indicates that consumers are not very responsive to changes in price, often for essential goods. Fiscal policy. Meaning, the use of government spending and taxation to influence the economy. Example, during a recession, governments may implement expansionary fiscal policies, such as increasing public spending to stimulate economic growth. Gross domestic product, GDP. Meaning, the total value of all goods and services produced in a country within a specific time frame. Example, a growing GDP is often an indicator of a healthy and expanding economy. Horizontal merger. Meaning, a merger between two companies operating in the same industry at the same stage of the production process. Example, the horizontal merger between the two pharmaceutical companies aimed to create synergies and increase market share. Inflation. Inflation. Meaning, a general increase in the price level of goods and services over time, leading to a decrease in purchasing power. Example, central banks aim to control inflation to ensure price stability and economic growth. Joint venture. Meaning, a business arrangement where two or more companies collaborate on a specific project or venture while maintaining separate identities. Example, the joint venture between the tech giant and the automotive company focused on developing electric vehicles. Kaizen. Meaning, a Japanese business philosophy emphasizing continuous improvement in processes, products, and people. Example, implementing Kaizen principles led to enhanced efficiency and quality in the manufacturing process. Leverage ratio. Meaning, a financial metric that measures the proportion of a company's debt to its equity. Example, a high leverage ratio indicates that a company relies more on debt to finance its operations. Monetary policy. Meaning, the use of interest rates, money supply, and other tools by a central bank to control inflation and stabilize the economy. Example, the central bank adjusted interest rates as part of its monetary policy to stimulate economic activity. Net present value, NPV. Meaning, the difference between the present value of cash inflows and the present value of cash outflows over time. Example, calculating the NPV helps determine the viability of an investment by considering the time value of money. Overhead ratio. Meaning, the proportion of indirect costs or overhead expenses in relation to a company's total revenue. Example, analyzing the overhead ratio is essential for understanding cost structures and improving profitability. Purchasing power parity, PPP. Meaning, an economic theory that suggests that in the long run, exchange rates between two countries should equalize the prices of identical goods and services. Example, PPP is used to assess whether a currency is overvalued or undervalued based on the relative cost of goods. Quantitative easing. Meaning, a monetary policy where a central bank increases the money supply by purchasing financial assets. Example, the central bank implemented quantitative easing to lower interest rates and stimulate borrowing and spending. Regression analysis. Meaning, a statistical method used to examine the relationship between two or more variables. Example, regression analysis helps businesses understand the factors influencing sales and make informed predictions. Strategic alliances. Meaning, collaborative agreements between companies to achieve common goals without forming a formal merger or joint venture. Example, the strategic alliance between the two tech companies facilitated shared research and development efforts. Trade surplus. Meaning, a situation where a country's exports exceed its imports, resulting in a positive balance of trade. Example, a trade surplus can contribute to a nation's economic growth and increased foreign exchange reserves. Undercutting. Meaning, offering goods or services at a lower price than competitors to gain a competitive advantage. Example, the new entrant in the market is undercutting prices to attract customers away from established competitors. Venture capital. Meaning, funding provided by investors to startup companies and small businesses with high growth potential. Example, the technology startup secured venture capital to fund its research and development efforts. White-collar worker. Meaning, a person employed in professional, managerial, or administrative roles, typically in an office setting. Example, white-collar workers often engage in tasks that require intellectual or knowledge-based skills. Xenocentric. Meaning, a business strategy or approach that prioritizes foreign or international markets over domestic ones. Example, the xenocentric marketing campaign aimed to appeal to a global audience rather than focusing solely on local markets. Yield to maturity, YTM. Meaning, the total return anticipated on a bond if it is held until it matures. Example, investors consider the yield to maturity when assessing the profitability of a fixed income investment. 0 hours contract. Meaning, an employment arrangement where the employer is not obligated to provide a minimum number of working hours. Example, some industries use 0 hours contracts to maintain flexibility in staffing based on fluctuating demand. Acquisition cost. Meaning, the total cost incurred by a company to acquire a new customer, including marketing and sales expenses. Example, calculating the acquisition cost is essential to assess the efficiency of marketing and sales campaigns. Benchmark index. Meaning, a standard or reference point used to measure the performance of a particular investment or market. Example, the S&P 500 is a widely used benchmark index for assessing the performance of the U.S. stock market. Crowdsourcing. meaning obtaining ideas, content, or services by soliciting contributions from a large group of people, typically online. Example: the company used crowdsourcing to gather innovative ideas for its new product design. Diversified portfolio. Meaning, an investment strategy that includes a variety of assets to reduce risk and maximize returns. Example: a well-diversified portfolio may include stocks, bonds, real estate, and other investment instruments. Economies of scale. Meaning, the cost advantages that a business can achieve by increasing the scale of production. Example: large manufacturing plants often benefit from economies of scale, leading to lower per unit production costs. Frictional unemployment. Meaning, unemployment that occurs when workers are between jobs or in the process of transitioning to a new one. Example: frictional unemployment is a natural part of the labor market as individuals search for better opportunities. Global supply chain. Meaning, the network of suppliers, manufacturers, and distributors involved in producing and delivering goods on a global scale. Example: companies with a global supply chain can source materials and components from various countries to optimize costs. Horizontal integration. Meaning, the merger or acquisition of companies operating in the same industry or at the same stage of the production process. Example: horizontal integration allows companies to consolidate resources and increase market share. Invisible hand. Meaning, a metaphorical concept in economics where individuals pursuing their own self-interest unintentionally contribute to the overall economic well-being. Example: the invisible hand guides market forces, leading to efficient allocation of resources in a free market economy. Job enrichment. Meaning, a management strategy that involves redesigning jobs to increase employees' intrinsic motivation and satisfaction. Example: job enrichment may involve adding new tasks or responsibilities to a role to enhance employee engagement. Key account management. Meaning, a strategic approach to managing and nurturing relationships with key clients or customers. Example: the key account management team focuses on providing personalized services and addressing the specific needs of major clients. Liquidity risk. Meaning, the risk associated with a company's inability to meet its short-term financial obligations due to a lack of liquid assets. Example: a sudden increase in liquidity risk can lead to financial instability for a business. Monopoly power. Meaning, the ability of a single company to dominate and control a specific market, leading to limited competition. Net income. Meaning, the total earnings of a company after deducting all expenses, taxes, and other financial obligations. Example: the net income is a key indicator of a company's profitability and financial performance. Organizational culture. Meaning, the shared values, beliefs, and behaviors that define the working environment and identity of an organization. Example: a strong organizational culture promotes teamwork and innovation among employees. Private equity. Meaning, investments made in private companies by institutional investors or high-net-worth individuals. Example: private equity firms provide capital to companies in exchange for ownership stakes. Quantitative analysis. Meaning, the use of mathematical and statistical methods to analyze data and make informed business decisions. Example: quantitative analysis revealed patterns in consumer behavior, informing marketing strategies. Risk management. Meaning, the process of identifying, assessing, and mitigating potential risks that could impact a business. Example: effective risk management involves developing strategies to minimize the negative impact of unforeseen events. Strategic planning. Meaning, the process of defining an organization's strategy and making decisions on allocating its resources. Example, strategic planning involves setting long-term goals and outlining the steps to achieve them. Total quality management, TQM. Meaning, an approach to improving efficiency and quality by involving all employees in the continuous improvement process. Example, TQM emphasizes customer satisfaction and ongoing efforts to enhance product or service quality. Upward communication. Meaning, the flow of information from lower levels of an organization to higher levels, providing feedback and suggestions. Example, employee surveys and suggestion boxes facilitate upward communication in the workplace. Variance analysis. Meaning, a method of comparing actual financial performance with budgeted or expected performance to identify variances. Example, variance analysis helps management understand deviations from the planned budget and take corrective actions. Wage inflation. Meaning, an increase in the average wage levels across an economy, contributing to overall inflation. Example, high demand for skilled workers can lead to wage inflation in specific industries. Extranet. Meaning, a private network that allows authorized users to access specific information or services from an external network. Example, businesses use extranets to collaborate with suppliers and partners securely. Yield management. Meaning, a pricing strategy used to maximize revenue by adjusting prices based on demand and capacity. Example, hotels often use yield management to set room prices based on factors like occupancy and seasonal demand. Zero-based budgeting. Meaning, a budgeting approach where each expense must be justified for each new budget period, starting from zero. Example, zero-based budgeting encourages a thorough review of expenses, promoting cost efficiency. 360-degree feedback. Meaning, a performance appraisal method where feedback is collected from multiple sources, including peers, subordinates, and supervisors. Example, the company implemented 360-degree feedback to provide a comprehensive performance evaluation. Artificial intelligence, AI. Meaning, the simulation of human intelligence in machines programmed to think and learn. Example, AI technologies are increasingly being used to automate repetitive tasks in business processes. Blue ocean strategy. Meaning, a business strategy that focuses on creating a new, uncontested market space rather than competing in existing markets. Example, the company adopted a blue ocean strategy, introducing a product with unique features that set it apart from competitors. Core competency. Meaning, a unique capability or advantage that distinguishes a company from its competitors. Example, innovation has become a core competency for the company, driving its success in the market. Diversity and inclusion. Meaning, a business strategy that values and includes individuals with diverse backgrounds and perspectives. Example, the company is committed to promoting diversity and inclusion in its workforce. Emotional intelligence. Meaning, the ability to recognize, understand, and manage one's own emotions and the emotions of others. Example, leaders with high emotional intelligence are effective in building strong, collaborative teams. Franchise. Meaning, a business model where individuals purchase the right to operate a branch of a larger company. Example, the fast food chain expanded its reach through franchising, opening new locations worldwide. Geographic segmentation. Meaning, dividing a market based on geographical location to tailor products or services to specific regions. Example, geographic segmentation helps the company customize marketing campaigns for different locations. Horizontal equity. Meaning, the principle of fairness in taxation, ensuring that individuals with similar income levels are taxed at the same rate. Example, implementing horizontal equity in the tax system promotes equal treatment for taxpayers with similar financial circumstances. Invisible assets. Meaning, intangible assets such as brand reputation, intellectual property, or customer relationships that contribute to a company's value. Example, the company's invisible assets, like its strong brand, play a crucial role in attracting customers. Job rotation. Meaning, a human resource management strategy that involves moving employees through different roles within an organization. Example, job rotation enhances employees' skills and provides a broader understanding of various functions within the company. Keystone pricing. Meaning, a pricing strategy where a product's price is set at double the cost to ensure a targeted profit margin. Example, the company adopted keystone pricing for its premium products to maintain profitability. Liquidity trap. Meaning, a situation in which interest rates are low and savings are high, but investment and economic activity remain stagnant. Example, central banks face challenges when trying to stimulate the economy in a liquidity trap. Microfinance. Meaning, financial services, such as small loans and savings accounts, provided to individuals or small businesses in low-income communities. Example, microfinance institutions play a vital role in empowering entrepreneurs in developing economies. Nominal interest rate.